Hello folks, Stephen Kirkwood here. Now I know I've not done a video for a while, but today it's a Saturday and I'm in doing a spot of mastering on a new project. The project isn't quite finished, but I'm putting a quick master on it to get it to the point where it's loud enough to play back. You know, it gives you the right sort of limiting for you to really hear what it would sound like in a club or whatever. So as I was going through it, I was adding some VSTs on and stuff, and I thought, right, this is something I get asked quite a bit, and you know, when students come in, it's about what do you put on your master, how do you get it to that level, and it's not as complicated as, you know, one might think. So I've got a couple of techniques I'm going to run through with you, and hopefully you can get some benefit from it. So I'll get stuck in. At the moment, I've got an EQ, some compression, two different types of compressors there, and a limiter. I'll probably add some more on. But yeah, let's get started. So this is a brand new track I've got sitting here. It's unheard really. I've put a video on Instagram, but it's just a kind of test subject at the minute for you know, this video. So at the moment, I'll be the mic. At the moment, the track's sitting about minus 10 dB, and we obviously want to bring that up to 0, so it's level. So let's do that. Let's have a look. There's an idea of the track, right? So when it comes to getting the levels up, first thing I'd do is let me just ungroup all of these, is I'd get some EQ on here. So let me, another tip here is you know, solo or loop, the busiest part of the track, and that's the part you want to master first. So if I take that to 128 like that, that will line it up with the grid, and I'll pick this section. So standard EQs on there. I've gave it a little boost at the high end, which is always good. Always pushes it out. I've dipped it in the middle, just using my ears. Sometimes mid frequencies can really, when you start compressing things and limiting things, the mid frequencies can really pop out. And also I've got a low cut on the low end, which is really important. I could do a whole other video on that, on the low end, but if you don't take care of your low end in the mastering stage, then you know, you could get some frequencies, rogue frequencies around 30 Hz, 40 Hz that could really destroy a sound system, especially a big one like a festival or whatever. So you really want to cut your bottom and do the same with your top, so you're within the sort of spectrum that you know, you want to be in. So first thing was an EQ there, and you can see what I've done there. Next thing I want to add is first compressor. It's pouring a rain out there. Wonder if you can hear that. So first compressor, and I've got a very low ratio on this one. It's not actually going to do much, but it's going to do a small job, which is the key. Begins to tighten things up there. It's all very subtly you want to do this as well. So the next one I've got is an SSL. It's a Waves solid state logic. It's a master bus. It's designed for the master bus, so it's great. I use it. Sometimes use it on not the master bus, but I use it sometimes elsewhere. It's good for mid basses and stuff as well. But in this case, I've got it on here because it's a solid compressor. You run everything through it, and it gives a nice bite. So. Now, if we take a look at what's actually happening here, it's the standard settings come where they've got the threshold quite far back. You know, you can see the needle there really going wild. Now you don't want that. You want the needle dancing from 0 to 4, really, as if it's like, you know, having a party to itself. Just, and that way you know it's working, but it's not being overly pushed, which is where we want to be. So look at that there. Too much. It's just enough to lift it all, really glue it all together. And the next thing on this simple master chain, I've got a limiter, Fab Filter Pro L. Now you'll notice, because I've not got the limiter on here, that I'm going into the red. So you can see that starting to clip there. Now what the limiter will do, it'll solve that problem, and it'll also give it a nice push at the end. So the limiter is always the thing you want to apply last on the chain. Hear that really starting to tighten up. There's some really nice sweet sounds starting to come out. Now the key here is not to push it too far. You'd rather push it, you know, less than actually pushing it overboard, because you'll be able to hear it and it'll sound really stressed. And you actually hear some tracks that have been released that are very stressy, and this is what they've done. They've pushed the limiter too much, or they've driven the compression before it, you know, too heavy. So up until this point, I've got the EQ, first compressor, which is, you know, really low ratio, low everything, just to catch the first transients. And then we've got an SSL compressor, which is from Waves, which I love. It's great, really simple. And then the Fab Filter Pro L. Now, I've seen some tracks from the best in the world, and all they've got is a limiter on there because their pre-master is so good. So if you've got an amazing pre-master, which is always what you should always aim to have a brilliant pre-master before you even think about mastering, you know. You can't polish a turd, and it's never a truer saying when it comes to this. So, you know, in theory, if your pre-master's brilliant, then you shouldn't need much else than a limiter and a bit of compression. Now that's all I've done here. Now there is other things you can do, of course. You've got like isotope as well, which you can use. You can also add different you know, types of multiband compression as well. Isotope's good for it. You can also add a multiband from Ableton, which is great. So I'll do that as well, and I'll do it specifically to tighten up the low end. Now you'll only really hear that if you've got some good headphones on or you've got some studio monitors, but that's really starting to catch that bottom end and really tighten it up. So when you look at this, it's very simple. It's a nice, quick, easy way to get your track from -10 dB, your pre-master, up to a point where it's like, I can test this in a club. This sounds pretty good. Always aim to have your pre-master is best sounding as possible, because that's the key, really. Good pre-master makes the mastering much easier. So there's some there's some pretty simple ways you can put your mastering chain together. I hope it's helped, and I'm going to get back to this and finish it. But until next time, I've been Stephen Kirkwood. This is SKapade Studios. Remember, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep filling you up with these tutorials. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon.